Good morning and welcome to Transformations with Lauta Rasul. I'm your host or co-host, Ahad Rasul. Greetings. Good morning, Ms. Lauta.
Shahad. Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. We have a fantastic show today. This is very exciting. We have a show based on mass clearings today, and this is particularly exciting because this particular activity that we're doing is a result of the natural evolution and expansion that takes place when a person learns to be a property clearer with quantum light property clearing. So after you become a property clearer and you start practicing your properties for a whole variety of different reasons, the opportunity to work with those who would like assistance getting to the other side of the veil, so to say, happens. Those who have passed and who would like to have help to go on to expand and to grow and elevate in their own spiritual evolution, come to those who have been in property clearing and let us know that they would like some assistance. And then we have the enormous blessing of being able to move forward and assist in that way. So we have on our line today many people who would like to share with you their experience.
And one cool thing that we try to do on our show here in our short time that we have with everyone is that we try to give everyone what's current, what's new, and we try to give everyone some perspective from more than just Ms. Lauta and myself. So we're always excited when we have our guests call in, clients and family that has actually experienced these things that we're talking about, because it gives everyone a glimpse, everyone who hasn't, a glimpse and some inspiration and something to be excited about. So I would like to say thank you to everyone who's going to speak ahead of time before you even speak. I'd like to say thank you all. And I hope that everyone that's listening enjoys. I think we're going to get started. Ms. Nataki, are you there?
I am here.
Good morning.
Good morning, in Lakesh.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Where are you calling from, Nataki?
I am calling from North Carolina right now.
Fantastic. And you want to share with us some of your experience with the mass clearing that was recently took place?
Yes. First and foremost, I want to say how what a humbling experience this was. It was very humbling from the very beginning when I got the call to say that I had been recognized to be able to do this work and participate in this clearing. It was a very humbling experience to be recognized for this work. On that morning, early morning, I could really feel a very surge of energy draining through me. And it was an amazing experience in terms of understanding what all was taking place at the time, and that I was actually being facilitated through to help these souls move on in their evolution. And so for me, it was very humbling the entire time, and I could feel myself being used as a conduit for this experience. And so that's as much I wanted to share in terms of just what a gratifying experience it was for me, and how after that experience I felt like celebrating, because I felt as if I had helped so many souls, and I did in that process. And I'm looking forward to the next opportunity to do this.
Well, this is fantastic. We are so happy that you wanted to share your experience and what sounds like your level of clarity about what took place and the after effect as well. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I think, who is our next person?
We're going to have Anahara. Anahara, we had you on a couple weeks before, and we're just always so excited to hear your voice because you speak with so much energy and enthusiasm about your experience. So I'm looking I got my popcorn ready to hear your story.
Welcome, and Ilika Shanahara, how are you?
In
my gosh, everyone. Good morning, hi.
Good morning.
Well, this was such an incredible experience to be able to help, as Nataki mentioned, to help so many souls to cross over and get to their destination. We had souls that have been lingering around for hundreds of years, waiting for the opportunity for someone to come along that would be able to help them to get to their destination. It was just absolutely magnificent. And the night before the clearing took place, excuse me, I was walking my dog. I have a Siberian Husky, and he's a guardian. And he was walking with me, and he could see the souls. He could see the spirits lining up and getting into place so that they would have a front row seat for the next for the event for the next evening. And
wow.
It was incredible. It really was. The dog could see him. The dog could see him. He could see him up in the trees. He could see him behind the trees. And as I walked close to my house, I looked up, and there was a 15-foot tall guardian standing watch over the souls that were assembling for the event. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. And so the next day, as I took the dog out again for a walk. Now we have a new assembly, and there were angels around my house. My nephew saw angels sitting on the roof of my house, and the dog could see him standing around the perimeter of the house. It's just the most beautiful, most incredible, enlightening experience. It really, really was, and I just cannot wait for the opportunity to do this again. I just can't wait.
I'm so happy that you're sharing the experience of what the children saw. Your nephew saw something, and that of course, animals are seeing things. But would you share before you leave how this whole thing took place? Because you and I were on the phone then when this began, and I'd like for you to share that story if you would.
Absolutely. I was speaking with you about the need to do a mass clearing because I live in New Orleans, and it's a polluted area down here. It is absolutely polluted. And when we decided when we chose the date of when we were going to have the mass clearing, at that moment I realized that there were spirits standing in the room with me, waiting to hear the date. They were waiting for that moment. Wow. And when we decided, and I circled it on the calendar, that's when I realized that they were in the room, and they said yes. She said yes, she's going to do it. And they were wearing clothing that indicated that they had been around for a couple hundred of years.
Absolutely. It's just really spectacular clarity as to how the universe works and to how little we are actually aware of how the universe works. That until, you took the classes and these experiences started happening, and even in my own first journey, these things happen as a result of the activity that you actually have in helping others. Then the expansion takes place. And in my own situation, something like that happened. This is many, many years ago. I was healing people, and sometimes in the process of healing, people would pop out of their bodies. And at the first time this happened, someone came when I woke them up. They said, "Oh, I was out of my body, and your front yard is full of people." He says, "Hundreds of people in your front yard." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yes. When I came out of my body, I saw them," and that's how I first found out that because I was a clearer, that the ones who were dead knew that I was a clearer, and they wanted very much to go on to the proper place for them, and so that they could continue their evolution and their expansion and their spiritual growth. And they had gathered around my house to ask for help, just like the ones who came to your office. So it's a very interesting dynamic that is not well understood, nor is it something that we're taught, but it's perfectly natural in the evolution of beings, that we have the opportunity to, when we pass away, we have the opportunity to choose whether we will go forward or not. And some souls choose not to, and then later change their minds.
So all the souls that were being cleared are souls that once they were done living in this body, their soul was supposed to elevate or go into a different place. However, they chose to stay, or how'd that happen?
Well, this is a free choice universe, and all beings have free will. And when you have a body, you have free will, but when you don't have a body, you have free will too. So the things that we have heard in our popular media about, someone comes and all of that is true. However, the person doesn't always go with them. Sometimes they go and hide in the basement because they think that maybe they'll be punished or something like that, which is not actually the case. But whatever the thought pattern a person lives with is the thought pattern they have when they pass.
Oh, okay. So I've heard you say a couple of times before about how for people who might have been like alcoholics or always lived at or always was in a certain place like the bar or something like that, even after their body passes, their soul still might choose to have or still has that addiction, so to say. So their soul will choose to be in that place. However, over so much time, all these souls need to be freed, so to say, or cleared?
Well, what happens is they still are operating. Most of the time, the soul is in a fragment. It's a fragment of a person. However, there are some souls that when they recognize that people or houses are being cleared of aberrant energies, they recognize you as a clearer. And then they start to come to you in different times. They look in your windows, they come to your job, they come to places where they can interact with you, they touch you on the shoulders, or they do different things, and they're trying to communicate to you, we need help to get home. And we know you can do it because we can see that you're clearing people.
This is what you're doing.
This is what, well, you're clearing you're clearing spaces, you're clearing places, you're doing things that they recognize will help them. So this is not the only way this takes place, but this is a way that it takes place, and it's a natural system that can be utilized, and it's a wonderful, wonderful acknowledgement from those who are doing work of helping humanity. It's a wonderful acknowledgement that whether a person has a body or not, you can still help them, and they recognize you for who you are.
Wow, that sounds like, and that. I actually want to point out that here at DNA Replicate, we are extremely, extremely interested in giving everyone who has the interest in these type of things a platform and an opportunity to learn how to do it in a protected, in a safe way, however, also a way that is effective. So, and a fun way. We want people to enjoy their experience of unlocking the things that they're capable of. We want everyone to enjoy the transition from going from your everyday life to interacting with the spiritual, the divine, and nature. So we teach these classes, the quantum light clearing classes. We teach these classes to help guide everyone in a direction where they can experience what they're looking to experience, but experience it in a way that keeps them protected. So all the things that everyone's speaking about on this show right now are things that have kind of opened up to them after them taking the class, right? So is this something that people should, if you're interested in, is this something that you should try to do without, like, on your own? How's that?
I wouldn't recommend that you move into spiritual realms without having done the necessary cleaning, preparation, clearing, and the connection back to the galactic grid and the earth grid, because that is your sovereignty. That's where your protection is. That's where your strength is. Once you've been, we're earthlings, and once we get connected back through DNA, and once we have our clearing work done, and I'm pretty sure everyone who has participated in this would absolutely guarantee that they wouldn't want to have done this without having that work done. Anahara, do you agree?
I agree
I definitely.
100%.
And where are you calling from, Anahara?
New Orleans.
So New Orleans, and we had 8 cities participating in a total of over 200, close to 250,000 souls with the participants working in 8 different cities all over the country for this event. So this was unprecedented in what took place because of our being able to be joined by other DNA family members and quantum light
Wow.
students. So thank you very much, Anahara.
Thank you, and the cast, my friend.
Enjoy your day, Anahara. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to take this quick commercial break, and on the other side, we'll hear from a few more of the participants in this mass clearing. All right, everybody, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Speaking about our quantum light mass clearing experience, and we have had guests on. We had Nataki and Anahara on speaking about their experience, and next we have Rain. Rain is an interesting person, an interesting character, so I can't wait to hear this. Rain, are you there?
Yes, I am. And look at
In the cash. All right. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Rain, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the United States, but I reside in Ecuador.
Well, that's very interesting because I think you had some participants coming from your home country, right?
Yes, I did.
Well, I'm very excited to hear about your experience. Would you share with us about your experience as a mass clearer for the first time?
Sure. I signed up to be a property clearer. I didn't even know all of this was going to happen. And then Anahara had this wonderful experience with the beings asking to be cleared. And I thought it was very interesting, so I just kind of said, and I was just doing my own thing in Ecuador, not thinking anything else about it because one evening I went to sleep and I had an experience. I think I called you in a little panic.
Yes, you did.
I tried to get through it. I tried to do it on my own, So, so they found me in Ecuador. So I had no idea that it would affect me too. So what I did was I gave them the date. And
Share with our listening audience when you say they found you. Tell them what happened.
And well, well, I was asleep, and a male figure came in and asked to be cleared, and I was like, I can't clear you, and it was like he wasn't taking no for an answer, and so what had happened was I didn't know that the dead was going to be contacting me, so I didn't think anything about giving him a date or anything like that. But after I talked to you, you said, well, Rain, you need to give them a date, because they already know about the mass clearing, but they need to have specific information. And once I put out the specific information, then I wasn't contacted anymore, but I was trying to figure out how, because I had to take an advanced quantum clearing class in Chicago, and that was going to be like a couple days later when we were having a mass clearing event. I was trying to figure out how to do all of this. So what I did was I said, hey, you guys, meet me over in Chicago. And believe it or not, they all came, from Ecuador. And it was really, it was a spectacular event. 2 days prior to the event, I had some visitors. Because, I was feeling all this tickling and everything. And these visitors are...
No, you have to explain you're feeling tickling and everything because everybody doesn't know.
Yes, I'm getting ready to tell them all about it.
Okay.
If I have time. Okay. The little tickling and everything, these are some little spiritual visitors called imps. And to me, they look like fairies or something like that. And they're very joyful, they're very playful, and they came in 2 days prior to the event because I was kind of wondering, how was all of this going to, we're working with the dead, they want to get cleared. I just had no framework, no reference, nothing to go on, just trying to go with the flow. But I have to admit that I was a little nervous. So when they came in, I got so relaxed, and it was like I was on cloud nine. everything was okay. And they came to the event, and they were there. There were about 4 of us participating in the event. And when the souls came in, it was just like, it was magnificent. The sky was actually like it was like between a lavender and a indigo color. And as the souls were being cleared, the sky started clearing up. We were there for several hours. And afterwards, like even the next day, the vibe, in the city felt different. The sky looked different that same night as they were getting cleared. We were getting confirmations. There was a bell that would ring every time a new wave of souls would come in. And we felt very elevated. It's just, it's a very peaceful feeling, like when we would go outside and you could actually see the souls come in visually. It looks like it's an aura. It looks like a steam or something when they would come in, and then they would go out. And at the end of the event, it felt very peaceful. It felt very peaceful during it. And even now, this is like a day and a half later, I still feel like I'm on cloud 9. And I just can't even begin to tell you how wonderful this feels. And I just thought I was taking a class, and to have all of this, it's just, to even know, to be a participant in it and to know what these souls felt like going home. It's just, and to be able to assist. And all I thought I was going to do was take a property clearing class.
Well, it's really wonderful because you joined with, I think you were with 3 or 4 other people in one location, and you all worked together and had the community of like minds doing something wonderful for humanity, because these souls still represent our humanity, and they certainly represent the environment and the landscape of this country and where we live, and other countries like you. The souls that have identified you in Ecuador came here to get cleared because that's where you were going to be. So it's really a spectacular understanding. And I'm extremely grateful to have been able to teach students who took their work so seriously that they were recognized for those who are living and dead. So I'm very grateful as well.
And I'm very thankful to you. Thank you so much. What an experience.
Well, thank you very much, Rain, and we will talk to you in the future because we are going to invite you back to do some. Rain is a professional, very gifted psychic, and she'll be doing some New Year predictions for us in future shows. So thank you, Rain.
All right.
Thank you, Rain. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Now, for there's a lot. We've done a lot of classes now, quantum light clearing classes. So all of the ones who did not participate in this mass clearing, is this something that is always a need? Like I'm just imagining that if you guys cleared 25,000 souls, approximately
250.
Oh, 250,000. Wow. Is this something that is going to be a continuous thing that is going to need to happen where other people who might not have been this far along yet will get to experience?
The way this works is that once a person actively learns the process of clearing spaces and places to heal the circumstances that we find in our cities and in our country and in the landscape of our world, once they do that, a number of things happen. Sometimes they've done this in previous lifetimes and they're recognized, and they initiate, by doing the work, they initiate and bring forward some of the things they've done before. And sometimes their enthusiasm and their desire to help humanity brings forward this opening where they're recognized. But the most wonderful thing is that this is a process that doesn't have anything to do with other people. This is a process that has to do with those who need the service asking you for it. This is ultimately being a healer. And what you're doing, ultimately doing, is those who need the healing come to you. And it's not usually the way that people imagine. That almost everyone who has come to quantum light property clearing knows they're a healer. But they often, I don't think anyone imagined that this would be one of the ways they learned how to do it.
Healing souls that are already passed. Wow.
However, we are having a class in January, and we're having a level 1, and we're having a level 2 in April in Atlanta.
In March.
In March in Atlanta, and we'll be having another mass clearing in April after that class. So we'll have more people who have been initiated by that time, because it's a normal process.
Okay.
So we have another caller on. I think it's Keisha. Keisha, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Well, in Lakesh, Keisha, welcome. And we're so happy to hear that you are joining us today, because I know that you could hear things that others, you have a special gift where you can hear what's going on sometimes. And I hope you'll talk to us about that. Will you share with us where you're calling from?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Just to start, I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Fantastic.
And cool. And I'm one of those individuals that was actually at some point where I could actually see the spirit.
Yes.
So it's been a while since I was able to see them, but I know initially I could see them with their old clothes on, and I could tell that they wanted me to do something for them. But for me, I was very new on this journey. So I had no idea what it was that they wanted. And one of the spirits looked a little frustrated, like he wanted me to do something for him. And the feeling I had was really, I guess, sorrowful, because I had no idea what it was that he wanted. But now I know that he wanted to go home, looking back.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So with the experience from with the mass clearing, were you able to see and to hear what was going on?
Well, definitely leading up to the event, there were spirits that did show up and ask to go home and say that they were ready to leave. I know the morning before the event, in meditation, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden my room was filled with souls. And I looked, and it was like wall to wall of souls in the room with me. And I was just moved, because I could feel that they were ready and really glad to have an opportunity to leave. So from the start, to be honest, I was enthused about participating. I felt honored to be a part of such a profound event.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sounds like we have a little feedback. Were you a part of the group that did it all together?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. So where were you all exactly? Like, what was you all set up? I'm trying to get a picture of this experience. Where were you all set up at? Were you outside, inside?
We were set up like out, well, at a patio window. And we had everything kind of set up outside. So we took turns kind of going out and monitoring and checking in on the event. And we were right there at a large patio window, right before everything that was set up.
And when you say you guys took turns going out monitoring, so as you all went out there, you could actually feel or get a feel for if the beings were actually being cleared away and things as you would go out there?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first stepped outside, I could recognize that the energy in the atmosphere, it had changed. It was like a blend of heaven and earth mixture. And I only knew this because it was familiar to me because of a technique that was taught to me by Leota. The energy was the same. And I recognized it right off. And I felt the energy that everyone was really glad and overwhelmed with the whole idea of going home. And it was just moving to me. I'll be honest with you, it was really profound.
It sounds to me like the souls were cleared and healed, but it sounds like this did something for the people doing it too. Is that accurate?
Oh, It's not only accurate, this process of even the process of learning to clear and clean properties is something that's very personal. Every person who learns the process, who does this form of healing, heals themselves at some level. Something like this, where there's no one paying you to do this, there's no prestige with the ones who are dead, there's nobody who's going to stand up and wave your flag for you and say, because they're all people who have transitioned,
Right.
and they've translated into another experience. So this particular form of healing is especially profound because it's done for the purity of love of other souls. That's why you do this. You're not going to get any awards for this. Nobody's going to pay you to do it. But what a wonderful gift to give all the other souls that are souls just like you. I mean, this is one of those situations of, it could have been you in another lifetime that didn't go, and someone may have helped you. And now you have this huge opportunity to help others. And this is an ancient practice that's done all over the world by shamans that clear the environment on a regular basis. In our country, it is done, but it's not done at this level where we had coordinated many people, almost 20 people in 8 states. We coordinated the event, and all of them had been recognized by the dead. So this wasn't someone attempting to do something without the dead having already identified them. So this is extremely profound on both sides. So everyone who's speaking has had an enormous shift in their own, not only in their own spiritual evolution, but in their brain waves and in their bodies as well. So we didn't talk about that, but the brain and the body changes when you do this kind of work as well.
Maybe we'll be able to get to it on the other side of the break. Well, it's time for our last commercial break, unfortunately. So everybody stay with us and we'll be right back.
Welcome back. And we're discussing the mass clearing that recently took place. And we have Henry on the line. Are you there, Henry?
I am. Thank you.
Henry, are you calling us from what city?
We're calling you from Northwest Indiana, outside the Chicagoland area, in a town called Crown Point.
Fantastic.
Now, is this a transformational story and the experience all in one? What is this?
This is a transformational story, and I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know what's all included.
Uh-oh.
So we're waiting, Henry. We're happy to hear your transformational story.
Well, hello, everyone, and in Lakesh. It's my pleasure to be in the company of such a dynamic family. Thank you guys for inviting me to tell the story. I kind of have been listening and following along with the various segments of transformational stories in the program that you've had in the past couple of weeks, and I thought this would be a perfect time to kind of go through a little bit of the history of what I went through to see what happened at the end of the day at this mass clearing event. I have to tell the listening audience that if you're listening to this program, you're most likely looking for a way to bring more joy in your life. And I can tell you that is absolutely exactly what I found by doing this work. So a quick little segue. I started this work about a number of years ago, but about 6 months ago, I attended a medical physical show in Chicago area for the first time. And I was trying to look for something else. And as I was going through this little show, my attention kept being brought back to this wonderful lady with a sweet smile. And her name was Ellie, and it is still Ellie, by the way. Yeah, Ellie's still and she's been on the program before, as you know. And she kept smiling, and I kept trying to figure out what in God's name am I supposed to be doing next. So I walked by, and there's a little sign that says Akashic Record readings, and she says, "Well, why don't you sit down, young man?" And I'm anything but young, so I did. And boy, did I learn some stuff. Ellie is extremely gifted, as we all know, and she immediately cued in the fact that I had a mess of an energy system, and she needed to get away from me, and she immediately referred me to go to Toyota because my soul needed a serious cleaning. So she said, "I'm more than happy to talk to you later, Henry, but first you got to go see Toyota." So that's what I did, right? So
right, it is. That's what you did.
So I dialed Toyota up, and I can tell you that it's kind of funny. Immediately, everything went to you need a soul clearing, and it's a lot of the accumulated experiences that we bring forward with us in our life, and the things that we collect as we live our life that slows us down and kind of gets to the point where it becomes hard to move forward. So it was clear to me that I needed a soul clearing as well. So Leota kind of uses the terms getting rid of stinky diapers, and so we need to flush a bunch of those areas out. And I can tell you that I signed up for the whole deal, and as I went through the steps, I could feel things get lighter and lighter and lighter. So what really validated a lot of this for me, it all began with some of the healing work classes that I'd gone through, and none of them really changed my feeling, my emotion, my clarity and stuff. So after the first couple soul clearings, I had a retrieval done too. I took my salt bath like a good boy and cleared myself and gathered myself back up again, and always came out of it a little bit more optimistic, a little bit more free, and little things were changing, but I really couldn't put my finger on it, and that was what was really disturbing me more so than anything, because I usually get things pretty quickly. But out of it, it came out that I had been suffering from heartbreak and disappointment in my life, as everybody has at some point in time. And Leota kind of was putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. So with some, I call it psychic surgery, and that was pretty amazing because I actually felt that mending of the heart as it was going along. So the next thing I knew, I was signing up for property clearing class level 1. I did my homework, practiced my work, and these subtle little hints were coming forward. And this little subtle energy feeling, I would see a shadow maybe, but wasn't really concentrating on it. I really didn't know how to interpret it. And I would get different messages, like for instance, I'd go into a house and I'd be told to clear a part of the house, and I would report back to the person what I'd helped do for the house, and they'd go, oh yeah, I knew about that. Now mind you, this is all done at distance, so I'd never been physically in the house. It was just purely, through property clearing techniques. So, here's another wow factor. So I did some more work and then signed up for the second class and found out more cool stuff. And this event, I always said I don't really get to see anything. I kind of felt I was missing out, but I guess the better word that I needed to start using was not the seeing, was more so the perception and how I would interpret those perceptions and form different thoughts and opinions based on those perceptions. So basically, through the process, I've been learning how to interpret the universe and figuring out what those messages were that through the help of the DNA Replicate team, the personal touch, I've become to recognize what some of those things meant. And I can tell you that there are a lot of processes out there and a lot of different energy modalities out there. But I can tell you that the DNA Replicate process is a personal process. It's a situation where, as mentioned earlier on the caller, that you don't want to do this on your own. And I can honestly say that there's traps out there. If you're not careful, you can't really figure out what you're getting involved in. I did something that I wasn't supposed to do. I cleared something that had more energy than I had, and it ate me. And, those are just little experiences that you learn from, and Leota was right there to help get it cleared up and move me along my way, because you do have to learn some of these things through experience. And, this is all about subtle energy and how to interpret it. And there's not really, you can't go to the dictionary and go, hey, okay, what happens when I this or that, So anyway, that takes us to the last major event, which is really about a day and a half ago. And to be invited to go to an event like that was really an honor for me. I have to say that. It was something that a number of us were invited to be able to do. A little bit nervous at first because I really didn't know what to expect, because it's not something that you go out and do and publish and get trophies for or any of that stuff. Like you said, you don't get any cookies for doing this. But I think what was really interesting is up until the moment that we were actually going to be clearing, we were all on a conference call, and Leota reminded me to stop thinking about what I see or didn't see. And, you know, it was really interesting because something at that moment must have triggered, because when the event started, I looked up into the heavens, into the clouds, and I was raised in the North Country of New York, and I used to watch the Aurora Borealis and just watch the lights dancing and all. And I can say that I had the same thing, only it was a column of light, and it was twisting, and the souls were kind of riding the column down, and then they'd go back up, and they would go off with the angels and do their thing. And I was picking up on the energy. I could see the energy manifest in the form of a white, wispy, maybe cloud. It was kind of a translucent color, and it just kept streaming and streaming and streaming. And you know, this took several hours. And at the end, as we were reaching completion, we were testing how much completion time we had left. And it must have been about 3 in the morning or something like that. And I could see the wisps become thinner and thinner and thinner. And when I was done, it all went away. And it was like really profound. So, another thing that was kind of came out on that conference call was that somebody had noticed the movement of shadows, and it was something I had discounted because I wear trifocal glasses. I'm an older guy, and I always thought it was this hourglass shaped grinding that they do that causes these specific movements. And I took the glasses off, and sure enough, the movements were still there. So it was obviously not in the glasses. So there were some of those things that take place that you just really don't know how you're going to perceive the subtle energy. And in all the classes, because it's a sharing opportunity, it's an opportunity to express yourself, to notice what you notice, and maybe share, and maybe somebody else will notice what you noticed that they noticed that you noticed. So, you know, it's one of those things. And what happens is you kind of become more aware of how other people perceive energy. And some people have the gift of sight, and that's okay. And some of us don't. But some of us hear, some of us feel, and some of us just know. And to know what you know and have it confirmed for you in a safe environment with somebody that has mastery of the subject matter, and to be able to continue moving forward is really, really awesome. And I'll share one last thing. The rest of the night, the clearing really went well. And it was really funny because in the end, what was interesting as well, that in one of the prior stories, Anahara had discussed the imps, I think in the last week's session. And you know, when I saw them, I saw nothing but a blurred vision. Everything looked cloudy. And since, again, I wear glasses, I always thought, well, maybe it's just because I'm wearing glasses, something's goofy, you know, about my eyesight. Well, since last day and a half, the clearing, the next morning, I was up at about 9, and I'm driving on my way to work. I walked into work a little late, and the world around me was just crystal clear. It was amazing. There was no blurriness. It's like somebody lifted the veils of sheer curtains out of the way, or if you want to call it that. And again today, same thing. I mean, the world is just so much clearer because of this. So I can tell you that if anybody has any doubt whether this is something they want to pursue, or they don't know how to pursue, or really don't know what the first step is, I can tell you that my journey in transformation here is about a change in frequency. As I've elevated my frequency, my wife has joined me. My sister has now joined me. Her daughter is involved in this. And so many people around me have personally benefited from the work that I've been doing just to help myself raise my frequency, that there's absolutely nothing that can bring the joy that I have felt that you can go buy in the grocery store or Toys R Us or whatever. So, if there's a doubt, I would say let the doubt be gone and jump in, because it is really a way to bring joy back into your life at the deepest, most profound level.
Well, thank you
and
so
that's
much
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this. There's so many things you shared that I don't know if I can touch on them all, but I do want to speak about this, what you felt with the veil or like the blinds or like the sheer curtains being moved. This is a classic example of when there has been a breakthrough, when you have what's called clear sight or spiritual vision, which has nothing to do with your eyes. It has absolutely nothing. You all could have closed your eyes and watched the whole event because it has nothing to do with your eyes. So it's kind of an interesting thing about this whole idea of, thinking that your glasses or your bifocals have anything to do with what you see spiritually. It's kind of an interesting concept, but the rods and cones in your eyes have nothing to do with this experience. And the idea of clarity is really where I wanted to get to, that this kind of work does clear you at the deepest levels because it's done completely altruistically. It's done truly for the benefit of others with no possible gain. So that level of giving is extraordinary and profound in and of itself.
I can say that every step of the process, Leota, the clearing has become more and more clarity has come. But the level of clarity since this last event is so profoundly different. It is just incredible. So that is, if that's the penultimate, and then I've reached it. If there's more, show me the way. So.
There's more, but everybody needs to clear their properties before you get more.
Thank you so much, Henry. Looks like we're at the end of our show for today. So I'd like to remind everybody, if you'd like to ask any questions, make any comments about your experience listening to the show, give us an email, contact us at laotaofthesun@gmail.com, or you can visit our website at www.dnareplicate.com to find out more information about anything. Find out more information about our Quantum Light Clearing class being held in January in Florida, January 22nd, 3rd, and 4th. We have plenty more details available for all those interested, so just contact us. Everybody, thank you again. In Lakesh, have a great afternoon.
In Lakesh, everyone.
Bye-bye.